Greetings Lunarians, welcome back to the Empire. I am your host, Sonari, here with a very special video for you. This will be the newest game that I will be covering on my channel when it releases. It is called Star Renegades from Massive Damage Games and publisher Raw Fury. Before we get into it, I want to thank everybody for watching the Brigandine footage so far. I, of course, will be continuing to upload footage of that series. If you have not checked out my Brigandine playthroughs yet, you can find that in the top right-hand corner of my first playthrough. After the presentation of the features, I will be going over which platforms you can pick this up on, including, of course, when you can pick this up. Without further ado, let the features begin. The first thing I want to cover is the main website. You can find the link to this in the description. I'll be providing a bunch of different resources in there, so definitely check that out at the end of the video. So scrolling down, we have the artwork and the gameplay trailer. This right here you can watch on your own time. As you can already see, it looks absolutely stunning just from the little snippet we have of the gameplay trailer, but definitely check this out first. Scrolling down even further, look at this graphic right here. This is why I'm so interested in the game, because giving this style of art this much love in a modern age is really starting to show. Just looking at the motion of the water by itself astounds me to let me know that there is a ton of love and time put into the art style of this game. If you are a fan of retro style graphics and pixel art, you need to pick this up. Continuing on, the same developers have made Halcyon 6 Starbase Commander. I actually went and looked at Halcyon 6 on Steam and it looks also very, very good. I went ahead and wishlisted it, so if you are interested in that, you can find Halcyon 6 Starbase Commander on Steam as well. I will leave a direct link to the Halcyon 6 Steam page in the description below. Continuing on with the description, we have a challenging tactical roguelite RPG set in an endless interplanetary rebellion against the Imperium. Lead a ragtag squad of rebels in their desperate fight against overwhelming odds and an evolving, merciless adversary. This already hints that the game is going to have an expansive storyline and timeline as well. In fact, if you look at the Steam page of Star Renegades, I will leave a link in the description below, you can see that one of the features is that you create progeny as you continue throughout the game. This tells me that the game is going to have a heavy focus in relationships between characters. This tells me that the game is going to be more expansive than we think it is. Continuing on with the features here, we have our first look at combat. The description is as follows: outwit your foes with interrupts, counters, and combos in our fast-paced tactical turn-based timeline battle system. If you are unfamiliar with a turn-based timeline battle system, look back at games such as Child of Light or the Grandia series. It basically takes a timeline going in a horizontal direction where your characters are running along that timeline along with the enemies as well. When a character or an enemy reaches the end of that timeline, they get to take their action. Within the game, you're going to be able to manipulate this timeline by preventing your enemies to get there first, and so you can take the first action. Being able to manipulate the timeline in this way opens up a ton of possibilities for strategic gameplay. You're going to be able to push your characters forward in the timeline so they are faster. You're going to be able to bring your enemies back in the timeline so they're slower. There's a whole bunch of different things you can do to manipulate that timeline so you can have as much control over the battle as possible. Scrolling down further, we have a first look at the landscape. The description is as follows: explore hauntingly beautiful landscapes, ruins, and procedurally generated dungeons in your mission to overthrow the Imperium. Once again, the art style completely astounds me. Look at the lighting. Seeing the environment as a whole with pixel art style is incredibly amazing to me. Just the aesthetic by itself has me super hyped for this game. Let's continue. We have another scene of a battle where the enemy is attacking one of the characters. It says, survive the relentless onslaught of a procedural adversary system that generates unique enemies and bosses that evolve as you play. This is super intriguing because, as we described before, there are going to be progeny within the game where you're passing along your genes or traits or whatever you're going to be doing to your children, and then they have to face even harder foes as you go through the game. That's what I'm assuming is going to be happening here. The opportunity to expand the game is going to be massive because of this system in particular. If the game does really well, who knows how much DLC we'll be getting for it. Stories, characters, gear, enemies, you name it, we'll be getting all of that stuff if the game does really well. Last feature we have here is unlock, trade, and upgrade your rebels with tons of weapons, loot, and gear. This is pretty standard, of course. I'm going to assume you can get loot from killing a whole bunch of enemies or boss fights, and also unlock new weapons and armor or something like that when you level up. Maybe even unlock new pieces of gear through skill trees. I haven't seen skill trees yet, actually, so if I do, of course, again, I will let you know. And right here is the bottom of the Star Renegades main page. Please put your email in if you want to keep up to date with the latest on Star Renegades. You also may have opportunity to have a closed play test, also additional downloadable content, You have access to notes from the developers. You also have more sneak peeks of in-game art. Simply put your email address in right here, submit it, and you're good to go. If you want access to the developers' social media websites, you can find Massive Games on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. I will of course be leaving all of these links in the description below. And if you have not done so already, what is wrong with you? Add it to your Steam wishlist right now. One thing I want to go over before release date and platforms is the combat demonstration. If you go to Massive Damage Games YouTube page, I will leave a link in the description. You can find the overview of the battle system right here. It says overview of Star Renegade's new timeline battle system. It'll give you a basic rundown of what the battle system is like as far as interrupting enemies throughout the timeline, as well as telegraphing what they are going to do and preparing accordingly. And now let's talk about when you can finally play this game. Massive Damage Games recently released a new PC release date trailer on their YouTube page. It tells you right here on the Steam page. I will also leave the link in the description. Release date is going to be September 8th of 2020. As far as I know, this is the first platform that the game will be releasing on, so make sure you do add it to your wishlist on Steam if you are a PC player. Other platforms you can be able to play this game on are as follows: the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Microsoft Windows, Linux, Xbox, and classic Mac OS. I will of course be making update videos for you to make sure that you know when these are going to be released on each platform. We currently do not have any release dates for these platforms in particular. However, once these release dates are published, I will be sure to update you with new videos on each individual platform. And that's all I have for you today, folks. I really hope you enjoyed today's presentation. I'm stupid excited about getting this game when it finally releases, and I hope you are too. Please let me know your thoughts on the game so far once you checked out all these resources in the comments below. Once again, if you want access to any and all Star Renegades resources, you can find the links in the description below. Be sure to submit your email to the newsletter for Star Renegades so you can keep up to date with closed playtests, etc. And be sure to like, share, subscribe all of the Star Renegades content, including these videos, to anybody that you think might be interested in the game and on your social media. If you like what you see and you want to keep up to date with the Star Renegades content, be sure to subscribe for more content like this, including guide videos and Let's Play series. I will also be streaming the crap out of this game on my Twitch channel. You can also find that in the description. I am your host, Vago Sonari. Farewell, Renegades. Peace. Bye.